Hey everyone, Kevin P. McAuliffe here for Lowepost.com, and I'm back again with the next lesson in our Conform series, and today we're talking lookup tables, technical lookup tables specifically. In this lesson, I want to cover exactly what a technical LUT is, the different ways that you can get in and apply them, important things that you need to consider when working with technical LUTs, and last but certainly not least, I want to show you how you can import not only technical LUTs but creative LUTs into your project for you to work with. Alright, so let's Command or Alt and Tab into DaVinci Resolve, and as you can see I am in the media pool and we have some footage here that's looking pretty washed out, so we're going to need to get in and add a technical LUT to correct this footage to make it look, well, correct for that matter. Now that of course does beg the question, what is a technical LUT? Well, a technical LUT is something that you are going to use inside of your Resolve project to change color spaces from the color space that the footage was acquired at to the color space that you need it to be in. Now something that's important to keep in mind, and I'm going to mention this at this point of the lesson, which is for the most part, I'm going to say, you are not going to be applying any LUTs to any footage after you've created the dailies for the offline house. It will be your responsibility as the Conform artist to get in and add the technical LUT to correct this footage so that it does look correct for them. But once you've done that, you're going to want to remove those LUTs for the colorists so that when they sit down, everything looks exactly the way it was when it was delivered. Then they can make any technical or creative changes that are necessary. So keep that in the back of your head. Now, 3 ways that we can apply technical LUTs. The first way that we're going to apply it is at the project level. Now, a couple ways that we can get to the project settings. The first way is in the file dropdown. The second way is with the gear in the lower right-hand corner. And the last way is to use the keyboard shortcut of Shift and 9 on the keyboard on both Mac and Windows. Now, you will notice that I am already in the color management setting. If you are in the master settings, simply click on it. Now you will notice that if you take a look down here, we have a lot of different input boxes that we can input information into. We're really going to be focusing on one, and that is the 3D lookup table. Now you'll see that we have an input lookup table and an output lookup table. So what's the difference between the two? Well, with the input lookup table, that is going to make any corrections that you make to the footage after the LUT has been applied. Now with the output lookup table, that's going to make all corrections to your footage before the LUT was applied. So keep that in mind. Now for us and the purpose of what we're doing, we're going to use the 3D input lookup table. I'm going to come down to the log C to Rec 709 lookup table right here. I'm going to select it. I'm going to come down and say save, and you'll immediately notice the color space of my footage change now to be Rec 709, which looks correct. Now working this way is fine, except it does come with one major problem. And I'll show you what that major problem is right now. Let's head to the desktop. You know, it's probably my favorite location throughout this course because I like to keep things on the desktop. And we have a shot here that is already in Rec 709 color space. So the problem that we're going to have is that once I bring this clip into this project, you'll see all of this footage that was in log color space looks great, except for the fact that when I get to this shot, it looks completely blown out and completely incorrect. Now you might think that it was shot incorrectly, but it's not. It's had an unnecessary technical LUT applied to it, converting this footage that's already Rec 709 from log C to Rec 709. So this is the problem with working with LUTs at the project level. You have to have all your footage as the same color space, or you're going to be going in, adding LUTs, trying to fix stuff. You don't want to get into any of that. Now, how you've seen me work up till this point, I'm just going to delete that. I'm just going to head back to Shift 9 here. I'm just going to turn that lookup table off, is I can apply lookup tables at the clip level as well. I'm going to right-click on the clip. I'm going to come to 3D LUT. I'm going to come to RE, to log C to Rec 709, and boom, there they are. Okay. Now, there's one other way that you could add a LUT if you wanted to. It's really not one that you're going to use for a technical LUT, but I'll show it to you anyways. Let's select all these. I like the fact that it always shows the checkbox so that you know that a 3D LUT has been applied to your footage. I'm just going to turn this off here. I'm going to come down to the color module. Now, what I probably should have done is head to the edit module first so that we can take a clip, drag it and drop it down here. Let's now come to the color module. On our clip, I'm going to right click. I'm going to come down to LUTs. I'm going to come down to 3D LUT, into the RE, log C to Rec 709, and there you go. Okay. Now, to be honest, you want to be applying a technical LUT every time to a node inside the color module, so I'd highly recommend against doing things this way. Now, one thing that's also important to point out, and again, I want to mention this at this point of the tutorial, and that is just because you think something was shot in log color space doesn't mean that you're always going to be converting it to Rec 709, or just because you think something is in log color space doesn't mean you're going to be using that log LUT. Remember, when the director of photography is out in the field, they could have loaded any LUT into the camera, and you're really going to need their shooting notes because that's where they'll write down exactly what LUT was used. And if you don't have that LUT, chances are they can supply it to you. You can download it from somewhere. You can get access to it to then work with it inside of your Resolve project. Now, that does beg the question, how do you actually input LUTs into Resolve? Well, let me show you. So we've removed that LUT from our node here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to the project settings, Shift and 9, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and I'm going to say Open LUT folder. Now, one thing that's beauty about this is that you don't need to go searching for the folder, but if I did want to show you where this folder was on the Mac, I can hold Command down, I can click on the actual name of the folder, and you'll see that it's in Library, Application Support, Blackmagic Design, DaVinci Resolve, and LUT. Now, for this lesson, I just happen to throw in these 35 free LUTs that I downloaded from the internet. You can go on the internet and find tons and tons and tons of free lookup tables, creative lookup tables for you to play around with. Now, keep in mind, to update the LUT list inside of Resolve, you can simply hit Update LUTs above the Open LUT folder inside of the project settings window. For all my Windows friends out there, don't worry, I won't make you launch Resolve and go into that folder. I'm going to put the location of that folder right down here at the bottom of the screen so that you can find it as well. And once you have all of those LUTs installed, what you can do is you can right-click now, come down to the LUTs, come down to 3D LUT. You'll see there's my 35 free LUTs, and there's all those LUTs now ready for me to apply to my footage and take this project to the next level. All right, now as always, if you have any questions, you have any comments or ideas for upcoming lessons or courses, I want you to head on over and post them in our forums at lowepost.com/forums. And if you have any questions for me, you can always send them to kevinpmcauliffe@gmail.com.